Okay, so this video we're now going to be taking a look at the difference between the endocrine glands and exocrine glands. Now, all glands in the human body are made up of epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue. Now, the main difference between the endocrine glands and the exocrine glands, I'll give two main differences. Of course, there's other differences, but the main differences are, first of all, endocrine glands secrete in the blood. In the blood. The exocrine glands secrete directly on or in the organ. I'll give an example here in just a minute. The second difference is between the endocrine and exocrine glands is that endocrine glands do not have, there's no delivery structure. Delivery of what? Delivery of the hormones that it's secreting. There's no delivery structure. And the exocrine glands, they have a delivery structure, and I'll explain what I mean here. So, for example, an example of an endocrine gland would be the adrenal glands. Adrenal glands, these are the ones sitting on top of the kidneys. So you have these little kidneys here, and you have these little sort of hats sort of sitting on top of the kidneys there. Now, these have no delivery structure in the sense that the hormones are just there, and they're just releasing these little, I just get little bubbles here of hormones. Let's take cortisol, for example. Releasing cortisol, the stress hormone. So these kidneys are just releasing this, and these little bubbles here just sort of floating away and going into the blood. Now, for the exocrine example, let's take sweat glands. Sweat glands. So if we have our skin here, sweat glands would be right under the skin. And let's say you have a little sweat gland here. This is a sweat gland. And the sweat glands would have this tube or this pipe that's going to start delivering sweat through this delivery structure. That's what I mean by delivery structure, meaning it has something that releases it directly onto the organ. And yes, the skin is an organ. The skin is an organ. So this sweat is being delivered exactly onto the skin. That's why we're calling it an exocrine gland, because it has a delivery structure and it delivers it directly onto the organ. If we take another example, if you had let's say the prostate gland. Well, prostate gland is a bad example. But if you had another example that has a structure, this is the key there. If you have a structure, or if you have it delivering directly to the organ, that is an exocrine gland. If it's secreting on the blood, it's just sort of floating away, this is the endocrine gland.